Good morning, Yankees Nation. This is Ken, and you're here with the ugly truth. Today, or this morning's show, is going to be an open panel concerning our bullpen. If you haven't heard, Yuri De Los Santos has been sent to the 15-day disabled list with right elbow discomfort, and we're bringing up JB Sandridge to take a spot on the roster. So once again, another kink in the bullpen armor, and that's part of what I want to talk about today is our bullpen, the state of it, where we look at heading into the postseason. The Yankees broke some trends last night. We finally scored some runs in the loss to the Angels, so we broke a 30-inning scoreless streak. A second notch that we had is we hadn't been in the lead for 51 plus innings, and we broke that. Unfortunately, the team is still not in sync. Hitters did not come through when we needed. We only ended up with three hits last night, and two of them were home runs. Judge still appears to be in his funk, and the rest of the team seems to be following. I mean, we had home runs from Jazz and from Bellinger. So, they got their swing on, and we've seen some balls actually go out of the ballpark, but that's not good enough. It's not going to cut it. And this isn't our New York Yankees. It's a phase. We go through a slump every year, and this just may be our time. In the past, though, it seems that when our slumps have hit hard, it's been all due to pitching. And this year, pitching is actually holding up very well. Starting rotation, we've taken 6 straight losses in a row, and the rotation is not the reason for it. But like I said, I'll address those at some other time. With regard to this year's team, we don't have the bullpen that we all anticipated. We've taken some hits. Initially, we had Ryan Yarbrough, Devin Williams, Fernando Cruz, Mark Leiter, Luke Weaver, Tim Hill, Ian Hamilton, and Brett Hedrick to start the season with. And we've had the promise of people returning from the IL to augment the bullpen that we have. Well, we've recently found out that one of our mainstays from last season, Kirk Cousins, is going to have Tommy John surgery and will be lost for a year. Clayton Beeter is starting to make some appearances and working his way back to the roster, but he's not there, and we don't know actually what he'll bring to the table. We had Scott Efros come up for one game. He looked pretty good, and was set down. Luke Weaver is on the shelf, working his way back. Yarbrough is now a starter for us, so that took away some of the long relief aspects. Losing Yuri De Los Santos puts another kink in the long relief aspect. He has been doing a great job holding stuff down, pitching multiple innings up to 3 1/3 this year, and has given up not a ton of runs. He's keeping us in the game, and he's doing what a long reliever needs to do. Fernando Cruz in last night's game came on strong, but then continued to walk players and that's an epidemic that seems to be happening to us is walks, walks, walks. And when you're talking bullpen arms, that's not a good thing. And generally, the way walks work out for us is those walks, those free base runners end up scoring on us and hurt us in the long run. I want to give a shout out to some of the folks that I see in the chat. I see Natalie, FJ, Jonathan, and I think that's about it right now. See that we have a lot more viewers than are actually typing. So possibly folks that are at work catching the stream. Want to do a little bit of housekeeping work up front. If you haven't, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and share this channel out. We have actually hit 130 subscribers. Hey Nancy, how's it going? 130 subscribers, and our next milestone is 150. So I appreciate all the new subscribers. I appreciate everyone that has supported this channel. It doesn't go unnoticed. Like I said, thank you very much. In standard format, I will have open this up to the floor so folks can come up and participate. As far as scheduling, we've got our live show right now, and at 1 p.m. we'll go back online for this afternoon's Yankees Angels play-by-play. If you look at your notifications, the stream has already been posted, so it will be there. So I look forward to seeing y'all there. Reading the comment from FJ, I'll bring up. Oh, those base on balls, without a doubt. If you look at the aggregate for our numbers, the bullpen is not all that bad, but it definitely needs help. There are people that are not pitching to form. Ian Hamilton, I'm not sure what the hell is going on with him, but it seems like every time, hey Dev, welcome to the stream. Every time he steps on the mound, the first thing he does is either hits a batter or walks a batter. He hasn't been very good. Jonathan Loizaga is starting to look better, but he has looked rough this season. Mark Leiter Jr. has had ups and downs, and last night Fernando Cruz's walk fest, between that and the untimely Volpe mishandling of a double play ball, cost us a game last night. And when we're fighting for our lives right now, those are the things that you can't afford to have. Devin Williams has looked more so to his form. He's getting there. And our closer, Luke Weaver, being on the shelf. These are things that don't bode well for us in the near future. We are needing some bullpen help, and on 161 River Ave show yesterday with Jason, I talked about the need for adding some bullpen arms and possible people that could help shore our bullpen up. A lot of them are not the mainstream folks that everyone's thinking about. That Fairbanks has been mentioned as a possible mover. Bednar from the Pirates, another one. Red Sox possibly moving Chapman at the deadline. Hey, Jason, how you doing, brother? Appreciate you being here. So they've got some closers. Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals. all of them are going to be expensive. And personally, I don't think that we need a closer type. What I think that we need is people that stay near the strike zone, throw strikes, don't allow runners to score, and give our team the best chance to win in tie games or at least close ones. The first one on my list is from an opponent from the Orioles, Sir Anthony Dominguez. He's a free agent in 2026, and he's owed on his contract about $3 million. So it's not an unreasonable contract, and his pluses for me is he has plus velocity on his fastball. He is a good strikeout pitcher, and this season he's not allowing runners to score. When he inherits them, he shuts the team down, and that is something that we just haven't been doing, and I'd like to see it. Will it cost us? I don't think it'll cost us a lot. Certainly not a frontline prospect or anything. Orioles are hurting with pitching prospects, and long and short, they don't have anybody in the minor leagues. Their rotation is horrible, and anybody that they may draft now won't be up for 3 to 5 years, actually contributing to the team. And like I said, they have nowhere to go here in Norfolk. We see the Tides. They're the hometown AAA team in my area, and there's just not great pitching down here. It's a reasonable trade, I think, could be made to bring him on board. A lot of people have been talking about possibly picking up some arms from the Rockies. Jake Bird is the number one candidate. Yeah, 99. I saw that, and I put that out earlier. Thanks for hopping on the stream. Appreciate it. A lot of people are talking about Bird, good velocity, has decent numbers, especially pitching in Colorado, which is a hard place for pitchers to go to. You can't bring in free agents because your breaking stuff doesn't break as much. 99. Did they actually announce that he had a UCL injury, possible Tommy John? If that's the case, then that'll be the second bullpen arm that we've lost for the season and more. But like I was saying, Jake Bird has been one that's been brought up a lot. Another pitcher that I like out of the Rockies that is long-term controllable, and I think we could make a play for is Seth Halverson. Halverson is a three-pitch pitcher. He throws 100 miles an hour, and his breaking stuff, I think, would play much better here on the East Coast. He throws, I think, a slider and a curve. Working with Matt Blake could bring out even more stuff for him and help him shine. Another pitcher that I like is Ronnie Henriquez from the Florida Marlins. He's not a free agent till 2030. He's running $775,000 contract, so he's got years of controllability on the cheap, and the Marlins have been eyeing and coveting Everson Pereira. I think that would be an easy, damn near one-for-one swap to bring in another quality reliever. So, there are 3 or 4 that I've listed right there as far as possibilities for us to help patch up our bullpen. If you look at the Yankees' actual numbers, the team is not off the charts bad, but there are things, what I call the eyeball test, and the team is just not making that eyeball test. As far as ERA, the Yankees bullpen is sitting at a 3.53. It's in the top 8, 10, something like that. But the teams that I note that have better bullpens than us, the Tampa Bay Rays, Houston Astros, Boston Red Sox, Kansas City Royals, teams that are right next to us, Cleveland Guardians, Toronto Blue Jays, Detroit Tigers. All these teams are definite postseason competitors, and we'll be looking to make upgrades at the deadline. All right. I am going to open the panel up. Control B. So anyone feeling the need or wanting to come up and express their opinions about what's going on with the Yankee bullpen, or hell, let's talk baseball. So any other topics that cross your mind, feel free to come up and we'll have a chat. The boys, we're still in first place. We are still holding our own, with the exception of this last week, 10-day stretch. We haven't looked very good, and it happens. The bats being cold. I can understand Judge going through a slump. It's not uncommon. Every ball player has slumps or mini slumps. I've never seen a team from 1 to 9 all go into a slump at the same time. It's just weird. Okay. The team finishes up a 4-game set with the Angels today. We've already lost the series, lost 3 of them. I see Jason Custodio in the background, so we're going to bring him up. Hey, Jason, welcome to the stream, brother. Appreciate you being here.
What's up, Ken?
A little frustrated, a little aggravated. Still a Yankee fan, not ranting. Hey, CT, welcome to the stream. Not throwing stuff across there, not smacking my computer or my TV.
Not yet.
Nah, man, I'm not that dude. But there's definite concerns, and then us losing another bullpen arm is De Los Santos. He's not a sexy name, but he's been eating innings for us. He's been preserving the rest of the pen. He's been getting it done.
Yeah,
and,
he's looked good recently.
We don't really have that guy. Yarbrough was our other long guy, and he's in our starting rotation now. So
exactly.
I'm thinking, that we need to do some augments, get some arms in here, and it's one of the things that was an identified marker. But I don't know if you was listening to the list of teams that I put up that have better numbers than us, and a lot of them are postseason contenders. I'm looking longer down the road as far as the big picture, and Jason, as well as I do, when it comes to the postseason, starting pitchers don't go that long.
Yeah, your bullpen, and we ran into that last year.
Exactly, and our bullpen, frankly, it just wasn't good enough, and we got chewed up by the Dodgers. The game that we lost to the Guardians, our bullpen got chewed up.
Mm-hmm.
We were competitive. We were in almost all the games, but the outlier, we lost the first game of the World Series, bullpen issue, and I'm just not feeling that I want to see another repeat of that this year. if we were fortunate enough to make the series.
Yeah, last year, I mean, and we kept running the same guys out there. But by the end of the World Series, they were burnt out. They were clearly tired. Luke Weaver was tired. All of them. They were. Then we had a Stroman on the roster, but he was essentially just taking up a spot. 'Cause he didn't pitch at all.
No, he didn't. He didn't throw one pitch in the World Series. I don't think he threw one pitch in the postseason. But
No.
he is. He's not a bullpen guy, and he's been making rehab starts, and the Yankees are shopping him, but they have to prove that this guy can pitch still. So he's going to end up going into the rotation, and one of our rotation arms is most likely going to end up in the bullpen. I suspect it's probably going to be Yarbrough, because frankly, he can pitch in any instance as a reliever. He can give us innings out of the pen, and the guy just doesn't get hit that hard, and that's damn sure something that we need out of the pen.
Yeah, yeah, he's been sort of a godsend too, because he came out of nowhere. Nobody expected him to be performing as well as he has. And I agree though, and he's already familiar with coming out of the pen, so I think that's probably more likely than sending Will Warren out there.
But
Yeah,
the other guy that's used to coming out of the pen that has done it in the past for us is Clark Schmidt. But we actually need him up in the daggum rotation.
yeah. I don't like Clark Schmidt coming out of the pen. I don't know if my memory serves me well, but I remember in was it the ALCS 2022 versus the Astros. And granted, that's like 3 years ago now at this point. But he came out the pen and I don't know. I feel like he didn't do as well as we hope. I
No,
think he's a starter. You need to leave him in the rotation.
he had the same thing that he has as a starter. He can't close batters out, and
Mhm.
something that the Yankees have been dying for is pitchers that are volume strikeout guys.
Mhm.
And Clark Schmidt can't close folks out. He can't strike the guys out in big opportunities, and he starts nibbling and walks people. He is freaking horrible. So I don't want to see him out of the pen.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be right back. Let me go see what my dog is going crazy about. She's over there barking. I don't know if you can hear her. Give me like
No, can't
three
hear, but
minutes. Give me a few
no
minutes.
problem, brother. CT, if you haven't seen, I dropped the link. Appreciate you being here on the stream. So if you want to come up, no worries, brother. Hey, Real Bill, appreciate you being here. Would love to have you up on the stream talking pitching, but I know that there are issues, and hopefully they all get resolved soon. Hope your wife is doing well post surgery. Got your family in our prayers and our thoughts. Appreciate it. And I have Jonathan coming up to the stream. Jonathan, welcome.
Hi. Another day, another arm injury. What can you say?
Well, Jonathan, that's part of the reason that I dropped this open panel for the bullpen, because it's we lost Cousins for the season with UCL injury. Real Bill, I am going to be on at 1 to do the play-by-play, but this is my normal Tuesday, Thursday time slot. That's
So who do you think we can call up from our 30 prospects? Do you have? I know this is this is not. Do you see in any way them calling up a guy like Brock Selvig or Henry Lalani or Cam Schlittler?
Schlittler would probably be the closest thing that I think might get called out of our system. Uh, we've been talking about Alan Winans a lot too. He interprets more as a starter than he does a bullpen arm. But it's not uncommon for us to bring starters into the pen, especially with the loss of De Los Santos. We don't really have a long guy in our bullpen now. The guy that you mentioned that we brought up, I'm not sure who he is. Actually, I don't know what his stats are. I don't know what he's been doing.
His name is I've never heard of that guy. He must have just been. I don't even know. I don't even think he's on the top 30. I don't even see his name on the top 30 prospect list.
Yeah, so Yankees pulling him up. I'm like, where the hell did this guy come from?
He must have been
Clayton Beeter,
DFA candidate. Beeter, I think Beeter is still hurt.
Yeah, Beeter is working rehab, I believe. He's not available to come up because I would have thought for sure that he would have been pulled if he was readily available. Like I says, what we have down on the minors, it's not deep, and I don't think it addresses the needs of.
This is one problem when we traded all of our minor league players to win last year. Given that it was a good, I'm happy to be in the playoffs, but at the same time, they needed to address some of these problems in the off season, and they really didn't address bullpen in the off season.
But I think the plan was to have Clayton Beeter as a full-time reliever, but then he got hurt before the season started. But I do expect him to be back up here at some point this year. And he's good. He's got good stuff. So I granted he's a rookie, but so we don't know what we're gonna get. But I do want to see it. I want to see him.
There's an article from February 15th saying Yankees moved Clayton Beeter to relief pitching. So he was. Everything I'm reading about Clayton Beeter is from February, and he was supposed to be a big part of the bullpen.
Well, Cousins was a big part of the bullpen. We don't have him anymore. We haven't had Beeter.
Efros.
He made an appearance the other day, and he looked good. He did his job, and then he sent back down the next day. I was like, what the hell? We added Brubaker to the lineup, who is, I guess, our long guy right now. He is conceivably one of the players I think that I've tabbed as having the worst luck in baseball as a Yankee. That dude stepped on the field during spring training, took a shot to the ribs, 3 broken ribs, done. I was like, holy moly.
The Yankees have had a lot of bad luck with pitchers, with going back to Carl Pavano and Jared Wright.
Yeah, but we've had some good luck too. We've had some guys come out of nowhere and be big contributors.
Yeah, you had Dylan Betances, you had David Robertson.
I'm talking about more recently.
You're talking. I was about to say you're talking a little bit of a ways back, but I mean we had Michael Tonkin, who came out of freaking nowhere and did a great job for us for a half a season. Michael King, out of our own farm system, did a fantastic job as a reliever. Hell, when we signed Luke Weaver, unless you followed the Diamondbacks, nobody knew who the hell he actually was. Yeah. I happened to, and I was surprised to see us sign him as a starter or as a bullpen guy because I had known him as a starter in Arizona. So, we've had some success. You look at Tim Hill. Tim Hill is not pitching as well as he did last year, but he's still getting it done. And he came out of nowhere. Yarbrough, people were slapping their heads saying, "Oh, why the hell are we doing dumpster dive and getting this guy?" This guy is ended up being a great long man for us when we had him in the pen. And if you look at his stats as far as a number 5 starter, because that's what Yarbrough is, he is the best in Major League Baseball in the 5 slot. So I have confidence in our ability to reclimate bullpen arms. But, everyone, when Lazzani came back to roster, thought that he was going to be the lockdown pitcher that he was before. And he may get there, but he's not there now. And
Clayton Beeter is pitched on Tuesday, so he should be available for a potential call-up.
Well, how did he do? What's he done in
right now? In June for the year, in 16 games, he had a 2.70 ERA, 28 strikeouts in 16 and 2/3 innings. And he's been pitching very good in the last months. Well, in the last 2 months, actually. April was his bad month. So I would consider calling up Clayton Beeter if they need a bullpen arm right now, assuming he's healthy and everything I'm reading is correct.
So he's actually assigned to Scranton?
That's what it says on the minor league website.
Right.
It says that he last pitched on June 17th.
And 99 says Clayton Beeter has no controls. Do you have numbers on his walks?
Well, let me see. Well, in the last couple games, in the last 5 outings, he's had 2 walks in 5 innings.
Right.
He's a 1-inning pitcher, but he has in the last 5 and 1/3 innings, he had 2 walks and 10 strikeouts.
Right.
And in May, it was 8 walks in 8 innings, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts.
I mean, if he was in the original plans before the season started, then why not call him up and see what he can do?
That's what I would do. If Clayton Beeter is available, he's already on the roster, call him up and see what he can do.
Well,
it's the way they're pitching. That's why they're getting injured. There's something.
But that happens during the course of a season. That's why that's why they say you never have enough arms as these guys. And then it could be some people don't like the way Boone manages the bullpen. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I mean pitchers that's gonna happen.
I have more breaking news. Breaking news right here.
Break it.
Aaron Boone said Luke Weaver could be activated tomorrow.
Really?
There you go.
Well, that would be a definite injection in the arm. 99, why would we send Scott Efros down? I have no freaking clue. Me personally, if I'm putting a butt down in the minor leagues, it would have been Ian Hamilton, because that dude drives me freaking insane. He either comes into the game and walks the first batter he sees, or he hits the first batter he sees. And that guy generally tends to score.
I don't know if he has options left. That's probably why.
He does have an option, because I checked on that. Efros had 2 options.
Well, look, they're making a move tomorrow, potentially after today's game for Weaver. So maybe that's one move they can make. Send out Hamilton, bring up Weaver.
I think they should just trade him. You could get from him.
Yes, but who's gonna trade your garbage?
I
Who's
know,
gonna
but you
take
you
your
you,
garbage?
you throw him in a package. You never know that there's teams that you can
The,
always use some bullpen arms. They
the,
they probably see something in him that we don't. The same way we do when we pick up somebody else's garbage.
but
Well,
the aspects of Hamilton that make him tradable is you have control. Hamilton has velocity that's uh, up there, but he is uh, not as accurate. And for me, in my mind's eye, if Matt Blake can't fix this dude, I don't think he's fixable. But there may be another organization that sees him as somebody who's
well,
potentially a chip for them.
well. If the Rays want a player, that means they see something they can do. Because the Rays never make a bad trade. Every trade they've made in the recent years always turned out to benefit them.
Well,
Today's
me
is
personally,
J. Oh, sorry. No, if you were wishing me happy birthday, no, it's not my birthday. It's
Making a
Jason.
161 birthday.
Yeah,
uh, the two teams that I would never trade with are the Oakland A's for an arm. Anything coming from them, I don't want because we have
Yeah.
been burned time and time again from them having non-performers show up with us. And the other team is the Tampa Bay Rays because whoever they get ends up being a superstar, somebody that we didn't see, and because we're in division rivals, we get our heads kicked in by those players 13 times a year.
Well, look, we made trades with Boston also, and now Narvaez is kicking our ass.
That's true.
yeah. That's happened to us a bunch of times too.
So we have to be more strategic on who they trade for.
I think
Like I
right
said,
now,
I think that they are looking for high velocity arms that have high K rates. And 99, you're absolutely correct with Weaver being able to go multi innings. That is great. Uh, Former starter, he definitely has the stamina for it. That's why if Williams was up to par to begin the season with, you had basically the last 3 innings of any critical game locked down between Williams and Weaver.
I think in Williams' history, he always starts the season out slow. That's the thing we have to remember.
yeah, I think Weaver can go 2 innings. I agree, but sometimes I don't like it when he does that because it seems like he gets fatigued quickly, and then but he could go 2 innings, but then you can't really use him the next day.
They might
I feel
not
like
they might not push him since he's coming back from injury. So I expect him to stick with 1 inning, at least for the first couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Definitely says we can't afford to put many more relievers on the shelf. We've lost plenty, and
Well,
like I said, we're going to end up having to look outside the organization.
well, here's the other question: who from the minor league right now could we call up for the pen?
I think you said it, Clayton Beater. Just give him a try. Why not? I wanted to
Peter,
ask you guys. What's I heard something about Joe Torre being on the All Star coaching staff.
He's
What's that
gonna
about?
he's just gonna be an honorary coach. It's basically a way to honor Joe Torre.
So he's gonna wear Yankee
uh,
uniform.
I think so. I don't know.
yeah, of
It's an
course.
all-star game.
He's an all-star. He'll probably wear a Yankee hat. being that he's the honorary person for the American League.
Mm.
Anthony, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're talking about bullpen. There's definitely a need for a bat, and I'll talk about that one on a different stream. This one I'm just focusing on the bullpen, especially since we had Yuri De Los Santos go down
Well,
with a elbow injury.
this is
And,
another thing. This is one other thing I would like to see baseball change in the next CBA, and I would like them to push the MLB trade deadline back to August 15th, because ever since they expanded the playoff roster, they need more time in to make those decisions, because the competition has just increased. I think it would be beneficial for baseball to move it back to August 15th, where it used to be before, I think, the 2009 CBA.
Yep, I agree with that. And I also think they should do like at the end of the season, um
The draft.
set, not the draft, but like make a deadline, like you got to sign your free agents by a certain timeline or something, so that way we're not dragging this thing through the whole off season
I think
into spring training sometimes.
yeah, I think they won't do that, because teams would then drag the players longer than they have to, and then player might be desperate and sign for a lower amount. So I don't think that would happen. It would be beneficial more to the team rather than the player.
Hey, Daver, welcome to the stream. What's up? We're talking bullpen and baseball talk in general. Open panel.
Jason, before you, to continue it, I had that idea last year that if a free agent didn't sign a team by, let's say, August 1st, then they could only by, I think it would by before the season spring, then they could only sign by one team, and the compensation, if they had compensation attached to them, it would be negated. But I don't think a player would ever agree to that, because the teams would just prolong the free agency
I see what you're saying.
until that deadline, saying, I'm not going to get penalized anymore. I'm going to sign you the day after the deadline, and you're going to get the same amount of money, and I'm not going to be penalized for it. That's why the players would never agree to that.
Hey, Jake, I was making a similar comment about the guy that we brought up. Never heard of him. Don't know that he's probably a guy that we picked up off the waiver wires at some point. For me, people tell me that I'm crazy, but I think that we should limit the term of contracts to, say, 5 years.
5 years.
The players union will never agree to that, though.
Yeah, but you know what? It's implemented in other professional sporting venues.
Maybe I would do 10 years to make it a little bit more feasible.
Well, the players union won't agree, and I suspect it's going to be a sticking point that results in a strike with this upcoming CBA.
Mm-hmm.
But a 5-year contract essentially puts a cap in there for players, and on a 5-year deal, it allows the smaller markets to actually be able to compete.
With the salary cap stuff, I think that
baseball would never agree to it.
I mean, even if let's say they were right to agree to that, I think the teams like the Dodgers are positioned perfect for that, because they've already made their signings. Because obviously they're gonna have to be grandfathered in, right? I would assume. And they got all that deferred money, so they'll be okay.
I think there's a better chance to get a salary floor than a cap.
Yeah, a salary floor will the players union will go for that, obviously, because that means more money for the players. But
Bill
I don't
brings it
know.
up.
I think a lockout is inevitable, though. How long will it be? Does that mean we miss games? I don't know about that, but the lockout is inevitable at this point.
Well, unless they come to some sort of a short-term deal, maybe they come up because in the last lockout, all they did was prolong the previous CBA until they signed a new one.
And just kick the can down the road.
Well, remember, and I'm going to bring a comment from Real Bill. If injuries continue to cost teams and insurance carriers money, some guarantees are going to go away.
Well, they already the guarantee of Stroman 1 year already went away.
Well, I'm talking. I think he's talking like
Money, salary.
Well, if you look at the Rays, for instance, the Rays put a monster contract on Wander Franco.
Yeah.
That dude is never going to play baseball again. His salary, his contract is guaranteed. So they're going to pay this kid over $100 million while he's sitting in jail for this.
But there's a caveat to that because there is a way out of it because it does in there. I mean, I don't know the specifics, but there is something where it's like if you break the law or do something like that, they can. There's a loophole in there somewhere. So they're gonna fight that now. They're fighting that. They're in the process of trying to get out of that contract.
Yeah, generally it's a morality clause, and that was one of the things that Franco did not have in his contract. So I don't know what the hell they're going to fight.
Yeah.
A contract is a contract.
Here's an article from last July. Rays stopped paying Wander Franco contract after sex trafficking charges. So I don't know. I don't know if the Rays are still paying him.
It's probably going into like an escrow or something until they figure it out.
I don't know. I haven't. I need to see more updated details.
Yeah, but that was one of the deals with Major League Baseball because they did I saw a short on comparative contract analysis between the NFL and the MLB, and the NFL had the morality clauses that like when Ray Rice freaking was beating the crap out of his future wife, caught on film, they were able to cut him. That dude's never played another snap of professional football. He also has never been paid.
Well, football also has. I don't know if they have stricter rules against that.
Yeah, I guess because it happens more often in football, and I mean that's not a knock against football, but you see it more there than in baseball. Even though we do see a lot of crazy stuff in baseball, a lot of domestic violence things, and so it's not uncommon either, you know.
And because NFL has a salary cap, it's more impactful.
And Real Bill has his salary was ordered to an escrow account by the courts.
What is that? Can you explain more about that?
Escrow is just account. It's just gonna be held there. So they probably still paying it, whatever they're paying every whatever they pay them every month or whatever. It's just going into their
$26 million a year.
It's just going into that account until they come to an agreement or the court's order that he's not gonna get paid or something like that. I think it'd probably be better if they just settled with him something like, hey, we'll give you $5 million, just get out of our, sign this and let's go our separate ways.
The thing I'm curious about is does does Franco's contract count against their cap?
right now? Yeah, that's a good question.
I can look that up.
You know, I think the way I think, and I know the players union probably wouldn't like this, but I think the way to go is just like, hey, the same way, kind of like how Julio Rodriguez contract is, right? Where it's like it's 200 million for so many years, but if he
I'm going to have to step away for a minute, so if you guys could
okay,
keep it going.
but if
Okay.
he hits certain milestones, like makes the All Star team or gets 30 home runs, there's incentives involved, so it could
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the way contact should be, and more incentive incentive rather than straight out. For example, Cano. Cano got $240 million 10-year contract, and then was busted for drugs, and nobody talked about him since.
Mhm.
So I think the Mets are still paying him, or maybe they traded him. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think the incentives way is the way to go, especially with younger players.
Mariners.
So like a lot of teams, they now they're like kind of what the Brewers did with Jackson Churio. They identify your stars early. I wish the Yankees would have done this with Judge, and then
I,
just you know
I agree. If the Yankees made him a deal after his rookie season, let's say for argument's sake, after his rookie season, give him 11 years, 290 million, for
yeah,
argument's sake.
he would have took it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what a lot of teams are doing, and then you could like structure, like you said, like incentives, like hey, it's 11 years, 200 million, but if you hit 50 home runs,
You get
we'll add
extra.
on this. Yeah, if you do this, we add this. If you're MVP, you get this, and it could be 350 million,
Yeah.
or it could just be 200 million.
Well, that's the way the contract should be more. I mean, right now, look, I'm looking at the Rays financial, the Rays contracts. The most expensive player they have is Brandon Lau, making 10.5 million.
And that's not bad. And they got a lot of good guys. They got
Yeah.
a lot of good players on their team. But they just know how to do it, man. They're a factory. They know when to get rid of players, and bring in more
Look,
prospects.
I wouldn't mind if the Yankees hired some of the scouts from the Rays, or they just know how to build a team. Same with the Dodgers. The
Yeah, but
Dodgers,
the Dodgers got their guy from the Rays though. What's the GM's name? Freeman. I forgot his name. That he used to be the Rays general manager, and they got him from there.
well, that's why the Dodgers are going to be a good team for a long time.
Hmm. I'm trying to remember his name. I
They
know it's
have
something.
the Dodgers have almost almost what, $70 million on the injured list right now, and they're still doing great.
Yep. Yeah, they whatever they're doing over there, they're doing it right, and they getting. I don't know how they're getting these people to defer all that money, but the Dodgers, it's different when they whatever their ownership group
Well,
is.
it's easier when you live in another country to defer money, because I think the goal, especially a guy like Otani, if
Hmm.
he gets paid in 20 years from now instead of now, he doesn't pay, and he's not living in the U.S. He's not paying U.S. taxes. It's all a way to they're doing it as a way to not only reduce U.S. taxes, but he doesn't have to pay California taxes.
Yeah, but the state tax, every player
But right now,
avoids
right
state
now,
tax.
I know. Right now he's getting only $2 million a year and tax on $2 million a year. When he retires, he's going to get $70 million a year and not live in California.
Yeah, but even I'm pretty sure that's why most major league players their home of address is in Florida or Texas or state with no state tax, and that's how they that's the loophole. But I don't know about federal tax. I don't know if he can. If well, I guess you're right because he won't be in the country.
He won't be in the country.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's something that they're probably gonna change to some point, but there is a way around it, and I think that's how Vladimir Guerrero Jr. his big contract. I think he's avoiding a lot of that because his his home address is like in Florida or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of people's a lot of players have home addresses, at least in Florida or Texas. So,
Mm.
I mean, I think Washington State is another state with no income tax.
Real Bill says, "Did you guys see where the Knicks are asking several teams to talk to their coaches?"
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
I've seen that. The Knicks have been rejected at least 5 times.
They should have probably thought about that before firing the head coach.
Yes, I mean, or they could. I don't know who's going to be available for them, but
Mhm,
I don't think it should be Rick Brunson.
mhm.
But they
Ru-
might not have any
Hey,
choice.
fellas.
I
Hey, you back?
Yeah, we have at my house. We've had problems with our refrigerator freezer, and there's a repair guy over there at the house, and he said basically the freon's leaking out of your fridge. It's going to cost us $1,300 to recharge it, but there's no guarantee that it's gonna hold. I says I'm going to pay $1,300 for a maybe, and
Oh, just for that, you just
he's
get a
like,
new refrigerator.
well, I just told my wife, you better go shopping, baby, because I ain't paying 1,300 to maybe have this shit work.
just get a new refrigerator. You can get one for less than $1,300. Even if you get one
Well,
for $1,300, got it.
well, that's why she came in here. Is like, I need you. I was like, I walked in there. He gave me the spill. I said, no,
Well,
no.
it's a good thing. It's a good thing that she asked you first.
$1,300.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's crazy.
had, had she had she said yes, I probably would have tripped offline at that point.
Hey, Jonathan. So, yeah, his name is Andrew Freeman. So the guy who's making all these moves for the Dodgers, he came from the Rays. They took him. Well, they didn't take him, but they brung him. He used to be with the Rays. He's the one who kind of built their whole blueprint of how to, get these young guys and everything. And then he went to the Dodgers, who have a big payroll. So not only does he has money that he can spend and get players, but he also knows how to um manage a farm, how to get prospects in and kind of like the Rays do. That's why they never, most of the guys on their team, except for like Yandy Diaz or Brandon Lau, like you said, like all them other guys, like who are these guys? But they come in and they got a whole bunch of good young players.
Well, then they need the Yankees need someone like that to in their farm in their office because whatever they're doing, look. A couple of years ago, when before Gleyber Torres got called up, they had one of the top 10 farm system, and ever since then, they haven't really developed many major league players. They've developed a lot of minor league players that people want, but they're trading a lot of their farm systems for a win now situation, and it's this year it's coming back to haunt them because a lot of the players are getting hurt and they have no ready players to come up immediately. I mean, the only guy they have is a guy like Clayton Beater.
Real Bill, the wife is on her way to Home Depot and Lowe's to look for a freaking refrigerator. So, yes, sir.
You gonna go with
New
him?
one
Man, that's a
is
big purchase. I gotta be there.
no. You know what?
Yeah.
I ain't going to look for a damn refrigerator. So long as the shit keeps stuff frozen and cold, I don't care.
Yeah, but nowadays they got TVs on the refrigerator. You ever seen the refrigerator with the big iPad on it? It's like it's all
Yeah,
touch screen.
I was looking at one that had like a interlink to your cell phone, and I guess it tracks the stuff that you're in there, and it makes your grocery list for you. That's a
Yeah.
little too high tech for me, but
Dude, you can stream from your refrigerator these
yeah,
days.
guys, we're doing the ugly truth from the kitchen because it's time to make din din.
Yeah, they
But
got so much stuff over there now.
you know, the Yankees, they're not in a bad position. This tailspin that we're in is not going to last forever. There are adjustments that need to be made, and I think up front it's going to be the bullpen that gets addressed. We do need a bat, possibly a third baseman, to come into the organization. I'd like to see improvements, off of the bench, but
I think the Yankees put out their lineup. I mean, look for it.
yeah, it's already out.
Oh yeah, it's an early game, so it should be out.
Yeah, where the game starts at 1:05. I will be on at 1:00 to stream the game this afternoon.
Yeah, O'Donna's pitching.
Yep.
So, what are you looking at today's games that can possibly be an improvement?
Patient at bats, man. This guy that's thrown today against us is a junk baller.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yesterday was a little better, but the day before yesterday, that game it had to be like 2 hours long. Like it went by so fast, and it's because it's just swinging at everything, you know.
Swing, swing, swing.
Mhm. Ken, what do you think about I know this is kind of random, but because I mean it's been the talk of the town right now about Anthony Volpe.
With regard to what?
I mean, just the error he made yesterday. Just in
Yeah,
general,
it
like
cost us the game.
is he the shortstop of the future? You think?
Unlikely.
I think that he's the shortstop for the next 3 years. Long run, probably not.
I think the Yankees will have someone in their farm system that could take that job. Whether it is they one thing the Yankees have is a lot of shortstops. I'm sure one of them can become a good player.
I like I hear everybody saying now, and I'm upset with him, especially after yesterday. But he is the best shortstop in our organization, so he's gonna
Well,
play. You know,
he's the only one in the majors right now, so of course he's the best. But
no,
Well,
we got Peraza.
Peraza's shortstop,
Yeah, but I like him over Peraza.
and actually,
I thought
Jazz,
that Cabrera would have been a good one if he was hurt.
Jazz is a shortstop also. His initial position in the major leagues with Arizona was as a shortstop. He just had no way of staying on the roster at that position. That's why they shifted him over to second.
Yeah. Oh man. Well then, how you been, Ken? How you been, Jonathan? How's life? Good.
You know, I'm happy to hear that Luke Weaver is coming back, but the way they've been playing the last 2 weeks have been pretty terrible.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've been calling the play-by-play for the last 2 weeks. I missed out on. I called part of yesterday's game on Joe's channel, and I got the privilege of calling the 8th and 9th innings.
I think you
Did you
frozen,
call
Ken?
Tuesday's game?
Oh no, he's there. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know how you do the play-by-play, Ken. I can't do it. You know, people ask me like, "Why don't you do a play-by-play?" I'm like, dude, I wouldn't. I don't even think I'll make it past an inning. You know.
Well, if you want to try it out, you can come on the stream today, give
No, I
an
mean,
inning a shot.
maybe I'll join and just listen to you, but okay. And then for some reason I don't know what it is. Even when I go on like when I watch it on Prime, like through the MLB TV subscription or whatever, I'm always like a whole batter behind everybody. So I wouldn't even be able to do it. You know.
All right. Lou, welcome to the stream. Comment from him. So we have all these shortstops playing other positions. Why not move Volpe? He's nothing special at all. The one thing that the Yankees are is loyal to a fault to players that they deem as their incumbents. Last year, DJ is a classic example. He's not truly capable of being an everyday player, but we've tried to form him in that mold. Anthony Rizzo last year and the year before didn't perform, but the Yankees still kept going with him. When Gleyber Torres was screwing up, he got benched for a game and finally got better, but the Yankees were very loyal to him also. So I wouldn't suspect that Volpe is any different than the prototypicals that we have there. I mean, if you look at Volpe's career WAR, he's a 3.4 WAR player, and teams tend to lean on the analytics a lot more than I do because of my old school baseball approach. The eyeball test means a lot to me.
I think ever since the Yankees leaned on these analytics, they haven't been doing it as well. I think the analytics is not as good as they think it is.
Well, it's something that all of Major League Baseball subscribes to. Maybe it's our analytics department just isn't as good. They don't interpret the data well.
Maybe.
I mean, Bill James is the guy who basically evolved the theory of analytics. If he's the mastermind about it, why not bring him into the organization? Because I don't think he's actually associated with anybody in baseball right now.
Maybe that's what they should do. Just find someone, find a low-level guy in in a successful organization, similar to Andrew Friedman, and see if he can bring something different to the table. The problem with the Yankees is they have all the main guys, all the main people have been with the Yankees for at least 30 years. They have nobody with the new ideas. I think Afferman had been there in 97, Cashman been there in 86. I mean, maybe it's time to get somebody with a different approach.
Maybe this guy. You ever seen Moneyball? Remember when
Yes.
it's like all the scouts, they were like ancient and they just, and I'm not saying that's the case with the Yankees, but I don't know. When you mentioned that, it reminded me of that movie.
It feels like it.
Yeah, but also in that movie, Pitt ended up stealing the analytics guy from the Cleveland
Guardians,
Indians at the time, and brought him in to shore up their analytics department, and they changed their whole philosophy. I mean, granted, they haven't won a World Series.
Hill's character?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they have reformed their team and baseball as a whole, and teams have used analytics. Hell, the Red Sox being one of them that ended up winning championships based off of that theory.
Disloyal. Look at FJ. There's time when I would never. Well, sometimes you have to make changes if you want to win.
Remember yeah. I mean, that movie. Well, not the movie, but that the A's at that time, the analytics and everything kind of changed baseball. It changed it in a huge way, but then it was okay, but I think they've taken it too far with the analytics.
Honestly, if you based on what I read, and actually before the A's, I think what's his name, Gene Michael was doing a little bit of Gene Michael was the one that started the idea of drafting players with higher on base percentage rather than other things. I think he was the one who started the on base percentage.
Yeah. But Ken, man, I gotta go take care of some things. I appreciate you having me on, and maybe I'll join
Not a problem.
the play-by-play if I have time.
Yeah, we are over an hour on the stream, and I'm about to shut it down because I've got some stuff to do before the actual play-by-play. So put some final notes out. If you haven't, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share this channel out. We are at 130 members. Our next milestone is 150, so any help that y'all can provide would be most appreciated. Programming notes. At 1 o'clock, I'll be coming on live for the play-by-play of the last game of the series. Want to thank Jonathan and Jason for coming up into the stream and help keeping the conversation going. Most appreciated for both of y'all. I want to thank everybody who has been in the stream, participated in the stream. I appreciate the support, and I'll pass it on. Jason, any final words for you, brother?
No, I mean, later on tonight I'm gonna go live. I'm not sure what time yet, but you can find me there, and just let's go Yankees. Thank you, Ken, and Jonathan. It's always a pleasure. Jonathan, you're so smart, man. This dude, he was killing the trivias last time.
The trivia,
Yeah.
Yankee trivia.
You should have him on your show as one of your trivia experts.
I could even name all the Yankee retired numbers, but that's for another time.
Most appreciated, Bill.
That's all I got. What about you, Jonathan?
I'm just looking forward to the game today, hoping they can win finally and snap out of this losing streak. Because the one thing that I've been mentioning to you in a previous chat is the Yankees need better plate discipline. They cannot expand the zone, and they need to hit with runners in scoring position. If they can do all of that, I think they have a better chance of winning.
Landon Holder. I'm not sure I've seen him in the chat.
Welcome, Landon. He was in there earlier. And this one's for you.
I can't read the trivia questions.
Real Bill says I can't read the trivia questions. That was the same damn thing I was complaining about.
I can't make them any bigger. The screen is only so big. We're gonna have to get you guys
brother,
some binoculars.
You're clowning me. Oh, look at the answers that Ken. I'm just hitting A, B, C, or D. I didn't know what the hell it is.
Ken was when you took military. I was disappointed.
If in doubt, Charlie out.
Yeah. Huh? No, I said I was disappointed in your answers. I was like, man.
Man, I've come back and I have whooped tail on several of them trivias. I don't want to hear that garbage.
I don't think anybody could be Jonathan.
I'm sitting there looking on my cell phone trying to figure out what the hell the words are.
Oh my! I'm gonna have to make it in Braille so you guys can read it because you guys are blind, man.
Yeah. So you got jokes. All right.
There was a
And,
trivia question I asked to Joe once, and he didn't even know it. And maybe I told you. I said, "What was the first year that the Yankees went to the World Series?"
Oh, yeah, he said it was one of it wasn't it 1921? Didn't we
1923.
agree?
Yeah, that's the one. Yes, that
Yeah.
was the one I mentioned to you because nobody knew of it.
Yeah, nobody knew it.
I knew it, but nobody else did.
It was 21 or 23.
21 was when they went. 23 was the first one they won.
Okay, so what was the Yankees' name before they were called the Yankees,
Highlanders.
and why?
New York Highlanders. Why is the question? I'm not sure why, but
Okay.
I know the name. I know the name of the Red Sox before they were the Red Sox.
First of all, they're not the Red Sox; they're the Red Sox.
They used to be the Red Stockings.
The Red
All right,
Stockings.
folks.
Wow.
I'm going to end this stream, and I will end with my traditional "Let's go Yankees," and look forward to seeing y'all in the play-by-play. And we will catch you in the funny papers. Thank you.
All right.